What's up guys, it's Mike here, and today's video is about the absolutely incredible power of compound interest. You need two things to make this work to your advantage: time and consistency. I'm going to run through a bunch of different scenarios and show how somebody can become a multi-millionaire by using compound interest. Enjoy. Did you know that Warren Buffett credits his wealth to being born in America, having some lucky genes, and yes, of course, to compound interest? Albert Einstein is quoted as saying that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. All right, so you may or may not know that there are two different types of interest: simple interest and compound interest. To understand compound interest, we must first take a quick look at simple interest. For example, if you invest $1,000 with 10% simple interest for 10 years, you will earn $100 per year for each year. So you'll have, at the end of 10 years, $1,000, your original investment, plus 10 payments of $100, which totals another $1,000. So at the end of 10 years, you have $2,000 invested via the simple interest method. All right, so now let's look at the same investment except with compound interest. We're going to put $1,000 in and it's going to earn 10% annually, but the interest is going to compound. So we put in $1,000, the first year we earn $100. This is identical to the simple interest, but it's where everything changes. So the second year, if you're compounding it, you have your original principal of $1,000 plus the interest you earned in year one, which is $100, for a total of $1,100, and now you earn the 10% on that $1,100. So $1,100 times 10% is $110. So with compound interest and the same $1,000 invested with a 10% return, your second year you earn $110 in interest versus $100 using simple interest. In your third year you earn $121 versus the $100 for simple interest. By the 10th year, you have earned $235 of interest for one single year versus still just $100 under simple interest. So now if you compare the totals, for simple interest, you earn $1,000 in interest over 10 years, but with the compound interest, you've earned $1,600 or just shy of it at $1,593.74. So your total investment at the end of 10 years with simple interest was $2,000, but with the compound effect, it's $2,593. All right, so now let's take a look at a couple of examples of how we can use compound interest to become millionaires or multimillionaires. According to a CNBC article that I found, the average annual return of the S&P 500 for the 500 biggest companies that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, the average annual return is 9.8%. So we'll use this 9.8% average to build our models. So for these examples, we are going to keep the interest rate locked at 9.8% because a 90-year sample size, well, you're not going to do much better than that. But for illustration purposes, we're going to adjust the duration, the amount of time that we have our money invested, and we're also going to take a look at how contributing different amounts of money at different amounts of time or different places in time during our lifetimes can impact the amount of money that we end up with. Did you know that if somebody turned 18 years old and immediately started investing $3.30 per day for 47 years until they were 65 years old, that on their 65th birthday, they would in fact be a millionaire? The total value of their money invested would be $1,012,207.59. That's got to be the easiest way somebody can become a millionaire. All right, so for illustration purposes, let's look at an example with the same 9.8% interest compounded annually, and the same contributions of $3.30 per day or $99 per month, but we won't start contributing until we turn 35 years old. So the difference being that instead of being able to contribute for 47 years, we're only going to be able to contribute for 30 years. All right, so at the end of this example, it yields $321,105.65. So even though the investor contributed for 30 years, which is 63% of the time that the first example contributed, the total value of the investment is just a third of what it was at 321,000 versus over $1 million. So you can see the true power of the compounding interest. And of course, the point I'm trying to make here is that the sooner you start, the better off you're going to be in the long run. Okay, so let's do an example that's a little bit more fun and a little bit more realistic. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're not just 18 years old. I mean, if you are, or younger than 18, I mean, fantastic. You have an advantage to get started now. But let's make our goals a little bit higher. Let's aim to be multi-millionaires, and let's assume we're starting at 25 years old. What kind of contributions would we have to make to hit a goal of $3 million? Well, at the age of 25, you'd have to contribute $20 per day or $600 per month. If you contributed $600 per month, compounded at 9.8% interest, the same interest we've been using in all of the other examples, after 40 years, when you turn 65 years old, you would have accumulated $3,151,531.29. You would be a multi-millionaire. So is it feasible? $20 a day? Well, you could probably cut out fast food, and with a little bit of savings and a little bit of investing in yourself, chances are that $600 per month in savings is definitely attainable for anyone. All right, so for our final example, let's assume that we don't start contributing until we're 40 years old. If you start contributing at 40, you have 25 years to contribute until you turn 65. If you contribute $86.67 per day or $2,600 per month at 9.8% interest compounded annually, you will have accumulated $3,109,119.23 at the age of 65. So as you can see, you need to contribute significantly more to reach the same goal. I recognize that the stock market can be a little bit overwhelming for those who aren't familiar with it. And when I do say the average annual return of 9.8%, that is the average over the last 90 years. But if you take a look at this table, you'll see that it rarely actually returns 9.8%. It's all over the map, but over time, that's what the average is. So if you see here in 2019, according to this Yahoo Finance table, the return was 31.49%, which is much higher. That's 3 times higher. In 2018, it was negative 4%. In 2017, plus 21%. 2016, plus 12%. 2015, plus 1%. 2014, 13.69%. So yeah, it's a pretty wide range, but over time it is always trending upwards at about 9.8. For a little bit more perspective, this table groups 10% intervals of the average annual return of the S&P 500. And as you can see, it puts the return for each year into one of the categories, with the worst year being the 1931 market collapse, which was the beginning of the Great Depression. As you can see, there's a bunch of bad years, but it's just completely outweighed by the number of good years. I'm not a financial advisor, just a guy with some ideas who knows what's worked for him. I always recommend that you should do your own research before investing your own money. Thank you for watching until the very end. Hopefully I was able to shed some light onto the importance of starting early and being consistent with your investments. If you like the content and you're new to my channel, it would mean a lot if you could subscribe. Please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Good luck with your investments, and goodbye now.